Welcome back, everyone. I've been drawing manga pages since 2021 for other authors. And I remember at one point, I had a project where I was required to draw 35 pages a week. That wasn't easy at all, and it required some mental backflipping for me to get around it. But throughout the years, I've developed a few tricks here and there to relieve some of the heavy lifting, like drawing backgrounds. Those could be very fun to do, however, they can also be very repetitive. I just find myself drawing the same building or tree over and over again, and that could be very exhausting. So if you're like me, and you just find yourself spending too much time drawing backgrounds, then here's 3 tips to at least help you be more efficient with it and save time. Well, maybe. The goal here is to only have to draw your background once in a very specific way. Let me show you what I mean by that. So I'm going to start drawing a village in 2-point perspective with a horizon line right in the middle. And the reason why is because I want to be able to see the ground as well as the sky really well, or the ceiling if you're seeing this indoors. I'll tell you why after I finish the drawing. So let's just draw for now. So a quick tutorial on how you can draw backgrounds. First, you must have a guide, a perspective grid, to understand the space you're drawing in. And boom, here you go. That's my grid. That's the 2-point perspective I was talking about. And the horizon line represented as a red line. Then just turn down the opacity so the guide won't get in your way. We're going to imagine that above the horizon line is the sky, and below it, the ground. All you gotta do from here is just draw along the grid like this. Alright, let's draw. It's montage time. So now that we've drawn our background, all we gotta do now is use our imagination and think of all the scenes that we can use it for. Over here, I have a character that's drawn with a low camera angle, so we should be seeing a lot of the sky. And because we did that with our background, the background works completely fine. So how about with a high camera angle where the camera is looking up high towards the ground? And see, it still works because we drew a lot of the ground already. Now you understand what I mean. By only drawing the background once in a specific way, we can reuse it at any angle in any scenario. Another important tip if you're trying to draw something like this is draw on a massive canvas, because you're going to run into pixelation if you try to resize the drawing. By the way, before we continue, I would like to thank all of you for supporting my channel. We are now at 1,000 subscribers, and I just can't believe that, Man, it seems like only yesterday that I started this channel, and I was just trying to gather up some scraps and learning how to write a script. I know 1,000 subscriber isn't really that much when it comes to the larger picture of YouTube, but I don't take that for granted at all. Not one bit. So the second trick is to draw the background elements individually and just use them as if they're modular assets. Over here, I've drawn 5 types of trees, and you can just group them up together like this to make a forest. The same idea can be applied with mountains and buildings, for example. Back in the day, it took me a very long time to draw backgrounds. It was a very excruciating process, let me tell you. And the part of that was because I was a perfectionist. So I came up with this idea that, what if I could just create an entirely new background on the fly? You can also use this tip in conjunction with the first tip. All you gotta do is cut out the highly detailed part of the drawing that you've already drawn. For this example, I'm gonna use the background we already drawn. And here, I'm just cutting out the big buildings, and I can just reuse them later on like this. The more you draw elements like this, the less time you'll be spending drawing backgrounds. So the third trick is to trace your backgrounds. And I don't just mean to find a picture on Google and just trace it like that. Now that's too easy. So I kind of learned this trick while playing with my son's knocked off Lego sets. And I realized that these toys could be stand-in for buildings. So I kind of made a city out of the blocks and took a picture of it. Then I just went and traced that picture. See? No guides needed. And it was fun too. I mean, who doesn't like playing with Legos? With all the tricks that I've shown you, there are a couple of problems that you might want to tackle. If you just copy-paste your backgrounds like this all the time, you might run into a problem where all your backgrounds will just look the same. And that could be a good thing when your setting is taking place in the same location. Consistency is good too. But if your reader sees the same building you've drawn a couple of chapters ago on a different location, that could be very confusing. So here's my advice. Draw over your drawings just to make them a little bit unique. The goal of this process is not to get rid of the work, but to make it more efficient. This is just a bonus tip. You can always buy background packs you found online. And there's nothing wrong with that too. It will save you a lot of time. But for me, I absolutely love the drawing process, even if it's just copy-pasted, as long as I drew it myself. Anyways, that's it for me, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye you!